All right, Freedom Builders, I'm so excited today. Our second session of this is your freedom plan with our agent attraction mastermind. So we've got our amazing great granddaddy on the call today, and our upline, our senior partner, Mr. Curtis Johnson. I'm very excited. Curtis has a massive organization, and when I met him, guys, his revenue share check looked very similar to mine. So that's really exciting because Curtis never thought he would be here. I never thought I would be here. And I'm sure a lot of you right now are sitting in your seats saying, there's no way I can get there. But that's all just the drunk monkey on our shoulder talking. So Curtis, welcome to our group, and take it away and let us know how you got into this amazing brokerage.
All right. I am super excited to be here. Hopefully the audio and you guys can see my screen. Okay. Hopefully you guys are just seeing the
Yes.
presentation. So obviously I'm out in Arizona, and when Tina asked me to come and be a part of this, I was super excited, especially did that last video that her and Kevin did. Was that just awesome or what? I shared that in my team meeting just like on Wednesday. I thought that was fantastic, but let me share something that absolutely I believe is life-changing. I was at an event a little over 4 years ago, and this came up on the screen. I'd been with the company for about maybe a week and a half, and I was up in Jackson Hole, and this popped up on the screen. It says, it doesn't matter what works, it matters what duplicates. And it completely changed my thought process and everything that I thought was possible about EXP. And I hope it does the same for you. So big changes happen at big events. And I would say that this is a big event. You guys do so many great events coming together, but when you're around like-minded people, your mind changes and it forces you to think in a different way. Now, let me tell you what I believe about real estate. I believe real estate is an absolutely incredible career. I've been in the business 23 years. I believe the ultimate real estate achievement, though, is not personal production and awards. And I love those. I love awards. But it's actually the level of success that you help those in your circle achieve. I believe that is the highest level inside this. EXP is the biggest opportunity of our life. This guy, Ryan Stuman at a Damn Beer event, I've known Ryan for a little while, but he said something that blew my mind. He says, opportunity doesn't go away. It just goes to someone else. Man, let that sink in for a second. Opportunity does not go away. It just goes to someone else. So if it's okay with you, I know you guys are heavy into production. I've sold 6,000 plus houses. I love production. But for just a few minutes, I'd like to not talk about lock boxes and inspections and agent splits and all that. All right, we good? Now,
yes,
here's what I know.
please.
Yeah, here's what I know. 67% of people in any audience, including virtually here, are having sexual thoughts and fantasies while the speaker is speaking. Now realize I did not say about the speaker. I just said while the speaker is speaking. So we know most of you guys are going to have a really good morning, good afternoon. But I believe that the old school legacy real estate industry is fundamentally broken, and it's designed at its core. It's really designed, and we just got a great history lesson of Coldwell Banker and the Ravens and everything like that, is it's fundamentally broken, and it's designed to keep real estate agents on the treadmill of low production, leaving agents dependent on outdated franchises. Think about that. That's the whole framework of this. And so that they can have vendors subsidize everything and keep as many agents as possible. Now, if everybody was producing at a super high level, it couldn't exist the way that it does, and brokerages would go out of business. I believe the legacy real estate model, it was to pound your chest and to show how great you are. And it's awesome. I think if you're going to be an agent, you should be the best one out there, to go and to list more than anyone else and be the top agent in the office and to strive for those things. And most people on here are alphas. They're saying, I don't want to be the fourth best, agent in this neighborhood. I want to be the best. Well, the idea was to go out, learn all the secrets, and then to keep them all to yourself so that you could stay relevant and important. Right? Tina would go to the Mike Ferry events and grind it out and learn all these strategies and do all these different things, not so she could always just come back and share it. Why? Because that would put her at a disadvantage. It was to learn all those things and then give her and her family a competitive advantage. Well, duplication is a completely foreign concept. And the idea is that, well, if I teach something that I went and learned, if I teach it and share that with you, that's less of the pie for me, right? That's the old model. Well, the new model is being someone others want to model, and then basing your success not on if you get to the top of the mountain, but that's the old school model. It's really, you've already showed you can do that. It's really to show how many people that you've helped reach the top, and if done right, how many have actually reached to a higher peak than you've done. That's the new model. I want you to think not just about how many home sales, but how many people that you've helped change their life, right? Now, getting people in a home actually changes their living environment, but does it change their life? Maybe, maybe not. eXp Realty is the only business model in real estate where your number one goal is to help agents outgrow and out earn you. Think about that. Freedom Builders, Tina, her job every day is to wake up and to say, how do I get someone else to grow an organization larger than I have? How do I get them so that their revenue check exceeds mine? That is the target. That's what we're trying to do. A good friend of mine, Andrew Franklin, out of Houston, Texas, was selling 1,800 plus houses a year. He recently messaged me, my biggest regret about EXP is that I didn't devote more time to this opportunity from the beginning. Now, when he sent this to me, I think he had about 400 people in his organization, maybe 300. And this was maybe 9 months ago or so. Now he has about almost 1,000. He's gone out, been very intentional, and he's gone out and started to really explode this by duplication, right? So 88% of agents in EXP love it as a real estate brokerage. We are first and foremost a real estate brokerage about production. I'm not trying to take that away. But just like the biggest opportunities, of Elon Musk is not, taking a ratchet and hooking a door. His is in leadership in doing that. 12% of agents inside of EXP participate in revenue share and are builders. That means if you decide that's the route you're going to do, and you wouldn't be here in this meeting if it wasn't, you've really already separated yourself, right? That's pretty awesome. Daniel Beer, who has had the biggest impact on me financially for the choice that he listed me as his sponsor when he joined this company, he said, even for the 88% who don't build or recruit, revenue share is the most important thing. It's the reason we share our playbook. So you might be talking to someone it might be in North Carolina, it might be anywhere, right? You might be talking about, I'm going to open up a Freedom Builders Orlando or Freedom Builders Nashville or Freedom Builders Denver, whatever that is. And you might be saying, well, you know what, the person I'm talking to, they don't want to recruit. And guess what? Most people that join this don't want to recruit. That isn't why we necessarily came initially. But even if they never recruit, never bring anybody into the company, it is still the most important thing. Why? It is because revenue share is the glue that really opens us up. And it's the reason that Tina's opened up her playbook. It's the reason that so many inside here it's the reason I'm here at 8 o'clock in the morning when I could be going doing anything else. I'm here because this is the reason that we do this. We're business partners inside this. And so Tina asked a little bit about my journey. January 2018, which is a little over 4 years ago, about 50 months ago, I decided to join EXP. I had already been looking at it for over a year. Brent Gove brought this to me and I said, no way, absolutely 100%, never, would never do that. I joined, and then I joined the end of January. And like I told you, that mastermind in February 5th and 6th in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, it blew my mind. And I'll just tell you why. And I hope you have some of those same epiphanies here. And if you'll just go with me here, we were going through, and Jay Kinder and Albie Stacey were going through and talking about this company that was going to blow up. I just barely joined. I was trying to really wrap my head around it. And the projections were the end of 2018 to have between 13,000 and 19,000 agents. And we're adding about 1,000 agents a month. Now we're adding about 4,000 a month. And this popped up on the screen. It doesn't matter what works. It matters what duplicates. I would challenge you, please write that down. It doesn't matter what works. It matters what duplicates. And I'm going to share some numbers with you. So just I'd rather not get sued. If some lazy agent snuck into the meeting somehow and thinks that they're going to pay $85 a month and they're going to just all of a sudden someone's going to start direct depositing them millions of dollars. That's not going to happen. It's based on your work. So we good with that? Are you guys okay if I share some numbers just so give some context?
Yes.
Cool. All right. So here's what blew me away in that meeting is when I stopped looking at the organization size and focused on the revenue share per frontline agent. And we took the example, the number one agent in the company, and he's still the number one agent, although Brent Gove is catching up to him, is Rob Flick. At the end of his second year, we had this up on the screen. He had, if you look at it, he had sponsored 37 agents. He had 2,862 agents in his organization. And he was at that point, it was 121,000. And that blew my mind. I was with, KW for about 2 years. I owned part of the market center. I was the number one agent. I was one of the biggest builders. And I averaged, get this, a shocking $20 a month over that period of time. And that was, I don't even know if that's net or gross. It was pretty gross, right? That was it. That was $20 a month, right? But again, it was $20 more a month than what I got at Remax. So but it wasn't enough that I wanted to put any effort into it. And so when I came here and I saw that Brent Gove was making $30,000 a month and Rob Flick pulled this up and it was 121,000, that blew my mind. I was like, 121,000, that's over $1 million a year for sponsoring 37 agents. And that was really where the focus went to, was because I looked at this and I had a team at that point for about 17, 18 years. And I had about 20 agents on my team. I had got it up to maybe 30 at one point, and I was like pulling my hair. I was like, screw this, I'm done. It's just not worth the effort. You can actually make more net on a little smaller team. And I was just like, it just was frustrating. But when I took my eye off the 2,862 and said, well, I could never do that. I'm not a recruiter. That's too far-fetched. I just couldn't connect with it. Does anyone ever feel like that when you look at even Tina's numbers? They're astronomical, right? You guys ever look at that and go, that's not me. I could never do that. That's exactly where I was at. And I was looking at this going, I could never get to 2,800. I could never even get to 1,000. Like, this is crazy numbers. But I saw the 37 and I knew that I had recruited agents before my team. And I thought 37, I could do that. in a couple years, that's like 1.5 a month. I'm like, I could actually do that. And what we looked is we broke this down, and this came up on the screen. It was each person in Rob's front line was worth about $3,300 a month. And I was like, what? And I'm a marketer. And so I thought, I could just go run a bunch of ads and I could go do this. But each person in his front line was worth about $40,000 a year. Now, you don't know exactly which one, right? Because this is always the 80-20 or even the 90-10 rule. Is one of those is worth, 10 times that, and a couple are worth almost nothing. So, but the idea was that the value of each one was astronomical to me. And we broke down what Rob Flick did in his first year. The first year he started out in January and he automatically took a vacation, right? And then the next month he brought in 4 people. And then the next month he brought in nobody. If you look at that. And then in April, he brought in a 5th person. That front line at the top is what he brought, his front line. So we brought in one extra in the last 3 months with that. And then the next month, he said he likes to work fast in spurts and then go on vacation. And so he brought in 7 people, and then he brought in nobody the next month, and then he went on vacation. And he said he came back in August and he looked and he goes, oh my gosh, I've got 131 people where I brought in 12. And then he went on vacation. And then he brought in 6 people. And then he brought in 3 people. And then he brought in 1. At the end of that year, he brought in 22 people, but his organization was at 700. He brought in some influential people. But the idea was I kept getting hung up on the 700 in the bottom corner instead of the 22, which was in my world attainable. And I looked at what these were. And after 18 months, he had 34 people on his first tier. And he brought to 151. So my target, just to let you know, when I came to EXP was my first year, I talked to my wife. I said, if I do this, at what number would you just not give me crap? Would you just be like, okay, I get it, go do your thing? And she said about 5,000 a month. I said, okay, that's my target. My second year was get to 10,000, then to 15,000 a month. That was what my target was. And I figured I need about 300 agents to be able to do that. And I figured I'd have to bring about 150 of those myself. And what I didn't realize was it doesn't matter what works. It doesn't matter all of your actions. It matters what duplicates. And so mine, I started just like every single person that comes into the company. I was the newest agent and I started out with 0 and I started tracking it from day 1 at 0. My revenue share was 0. My last revenue share was 0. I came over with a team of 18, but they came a couple days later. I started at 0. Everybody starts there. So if you're at 0, congratulations, we've been tied before, right? And then quickly I brought those agents over. A couple other agents saw that. And I was still at 0. I brought in 24 agents, 20 of those on my team, or 18 of those were on my team. And it started to expand. And I was still at 0. Why? Because you plant before you actually get. And again, I talked about I wanted to get to 300 agents. I took a screenshot this morning. I brought in 62 frontline active agents inside there. New agents I'm adding per month is somewhere usually between 400 to 500 gross agents. And that right now I just passed 7,000. Like on Friday, I looked this morning, it was 7,521, right?
Amazing.
It's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. When your target is to get to 300 and you're, talking about crazy numbers, it's bonkers. A few months back, I got over $300,000 just from the revenue share. A couple months in a row. This month, it looks like I'm already at 299 or something like that. So I'm going to pass 300. This will be my biggest month ever. But you know what? I made a lot of money selling real estate, but I didn't make this type of money. That's for sure. Right. And so what I look at your payout on your tier 1. And that's what I was focused on, is recruiting income. If you only bring people into the company and you don't help them duplicate, you get paid as a recruiter. And then tiers 2 through 7, I look at as duplication income. And that's what you guys are doing right now, right? This isn't like, I've talked to Tina a lot on the phone, one-on-one. She didn't call and say, Curtis, would you jump on the call and walk me through your presentation again? She says, I want to share this with other people. You get that? That's duplication. That's where the money is at. That's where the fun is at. And so my tier 1 recruiting income, if I was going to break that $300,000 out, and I did each tier, would have paid me about $4,600, which is still a crap load of money. Let's get real. That's a lot of money. But my tier 2 through 7, my duplication income, my tier 2 paid me about $15,000. My tier 3, about $28,000 for the month, right? My tier 4, and I'm not bragging, I'm blown away just like everybody else. Let's get real. This is crazy stuff right here, right? Biggest opportunity in history of real estate. Tier 4, 41,000. Tier 5 was 29,000, because Glenn built this so perfectly, right? In order to be able to really duplicate and to be able to make the numbers work, it drops down a little bit and then it comes back up again. My tier 6 was paid me $75,000 for that 1 month, and my tier 7 paid me about $130,000. So out of that was about $324,000. But look, if I only focused on bringing people in and then just not helping them duplicate, not helping them win, I would be paid about $4,500. Like that's traditional old school legacy real estate model. And that's why this opportunity is the biggest opportunity in the history of real estate. That's why you need to produce, you need to go out and sell houses and list houses. But guess what? A lot of the people that I brought in 4 years ago, now I'm getting paid for the 4th and 5th time for the investment of sharing this with them, right? That's a lot of money, but I was already making a lot of money selling real estate. So what does this really actually mean? If you could go out and you could buy rentals and everything else like that. Now, go back and I know I've got a shorter period of time, but there's something called the 4% rule for retirement.
Curtis, you have all the time you want. You're good. Keep going.
All right. I do talk fast.
No rush. We're having fun.
It. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
You just go.
All right. So there's a 4% rule for retirement. And that means to get $100,000 a year for retirement, which means you don't hurt or you don't remove anything from the base money, right? The seed money. You're just taking out some of the profits, but you're leaving the money right there. To get $100,000 out of your retirement, but not to affect the initial savings of that, you would need, you take $100,000 and then you multiply it by 25, which was 4%, right? Which would give you 100%. So that equals about 2.5 million. You need 2.5 million bank to be able to get $100,000 a year for retirement. So if you're making like $1,000 a month, take 1,000 times 25, right? And that's like you can figure out whatever number you want or the value of that money that you need to go make it from, buying rentals or your stocks or you're doing crypto, whatever it is. So there's the residual income value formula. So really, what does this mean in real money? This is like if I was making $300,000, which I'll make more than that this month in revenue share. It blows my mind. You take that $300,000 and you multiply it by 12 and then by 25. That would be, I'm being paid as if I had $90 million in the bank. You guys get that? From recruiting 62 active agents I sponsored, that listed me as a sponsor, a lot of those on my team, but a lot of those outside, that would be the equivalent of taking $90 million and putting that in the bank and taking off some of the money to live off of. That's mind-blowing in a little over 4 years. And this is the opportunity each one of us have right now. So to go from $0 to $90 million in the equivalent of less than 4 years, that would take saving $61,643.83 each and every single day for 4 years. Let that sink in for just a second. Like I'd have to go out and save $61,643 a day, every single day for 4 years to get the equivalent of what I'm getting through this powerful opportunity that we have. Because if you really understood residual income, you would walk through a brick wall to get it. Now, it sounds great, but Curtis, I'm not a recruiter. I'm not Tina. I'm not this. I'm not great at video. I'm not great at whatever. I'm a new agent, whatever. Here's the deal. People are recruiters by nature. Unconsciously, they will recruit you to the singles club, right? To the broke club, to the out of shape club, or whatever it is. But the opposite is also true. So just get around people who have what you want in life, and it will be only a matter of time before you have that very thing. Right? You're in the right room. People say, Curtis, what's been your strategy? Well, my strategy was I hung around with all the people that were building huge organizations, and I want to fit in. I'm a human. I'm normal. I want to fit in. And I did what it took to fit in. And I built a huge organization. Some of you guys hang out with broke people and you want to fit in, and guess what you do? So stop it. Don't fit in with that group. Go hang out with other people that have big organizations and fit in with them. Just change your circle, because you're going to do whatever it takes to fit in with the people that are builders, right? You're in the right place, right? Revenue share is the way to get off the transaction treadmill and create time, location, and financial freedom. I don't have to come to work. I'm here because I choose to. I'm here. I do the things. I wake up every day because I get to. It's fun. I'm having the most fun I've ever had in my life, right? We get paid a lifetime of referrals for introducing an agent to EXP and our organization. So has anyone ever been to Vegas? You don't have to totally admit it, but the ones that, okay, a couple of you. All right. So what's your favorite game, right? Most people will say like, oh, blackjack. Cause I can't count to 22, but I can count to 21. Right. Okay. Well, what if you got a blackjack, you usually get paid 1.5, right? You get paid, if you bet $100 and you get a blackjack, they'll give you $150. Here's what EXP is. EXP is if you did that, and instead of getting $150, you got $2,000 or $20,000 or $200,000, right? Because guess what? It is somewhat random, right? But it's when something explodes, when you find a Tina Caul, right? When you find somebody like that is an absolute game changer that gets this and is able to implement this. And when you go out and you start creating and duplicating, it pays you an astronomical number. Now, if you knew that one table was paying the same as everything else, but on a blackjack, they paid 1.5, and another table, the same odds, same everything else, paid you $2,000 when you got a blackjack, how much time would you spend on any other game? You wouldn't spend any time. Why? Because it's the biggest opportunity you've ever had. And that's what this is. EXP is like having a magic table that pays crazy, but too many people see that and they go, you know what, screw that. I'm going to go back over to the penny slots. I'm going to go over to the penny slots instead because I'm comfortable and my smoker friends are over there hanging out, dying of cancer. That's what I really want to go do. Right. So sorry. That's just like, I was just on a cruise and I walked through the casino a couple of times. I was like, well, if the buffet don't get you and the alcohol doesn't get you, that whatever you're smoking right there, that's going to get you, right? So there's the bunch of people are going to die right there. That's for sure, right? So here's the deal. Hang out with people who have the life that you want it to be, right? So who's this person on the screen? Do we know? You guys in North Carolina, you guys might have heard about this person. I think he played somewhere around your area.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So we got like the triangle's got all kinds of allegiances, right? So, okay. So Michael Jordan, I think he's the greatest basketball player there's ever been. Now, in 1984, 21-year-old rookie Michael Jordan signed a 5-year deal with Nike that was worth $500,000 a year. Now, how much did Nike pay Michael Jordan? Well, here's the deal. Michael Jordan's initial contract with Nike was for $500,000, but he also got a percentage of the revenue, which was new. Most of the time, it was started in tennis. Tennis players started to get paid that, but his agent negotiated for a portion of it. They came out with Air Jordans. Michael Jordan came out, won a bunch of championships, got paid a fair amount. The last few years, he was making 30, 31 million, 33 million. Last year, he made $1 million. Here's the deal. Jordan made 90 million playing 15 seasons. Every waking moment that he wasn't golfing, he was focused on winning championships, right? He made 90 million being the greatest basketball player that's ever lived, playing for 15 seasons every day, every minute. He made $2 billion in revenue share. He made $2 billion in revenue share. Now, he made almost all of his money he has over a $2 billion. About 5 to 6% of his net worth came from what he made playing. So there's a lot of people that are like, I make a lot of money selling houses. Yeah, that's great. But guess what? Michael Jordan's been retired since 2003, and he still makes over $130 million a year because of the effort and the things that he did one time. Now, Michael Jordan, he makes billions because he personally, I asked it a different way. Did Michael Jordan make billions because he personally sold shoes from the trunk on weekends like Nike started out with? No, he leveraged millions of us wanting to be like him, be around him, and be associated with him. He levered association to him, his name, and he took a tiny piece off the top of his partner's revenue. That's the exact same thing that we do. So what does this have to do with real estate? Well, let me tell you about 3 people, Dave, Gary, and Glenn. Billions in revenue share. Now, I spent 18 years building a team, focused all my efforts on my team one. I built it to 20 agents. At RE/MAX, I worked in Dave Linegar's downline. When I sold houses, I paid him. He made more. I worked more. I sold more houses, right? I learned how to speed the treadmill up and make more gross income. Dave Linegar became a billionaire through revenue share and stock, and I became less wealthy, really. Keller Williams, I worked in Gary Keller's downline. I worked more and I sold even more homes. I learned how to speed the treadmill up even faster, and I made more gross income. Gary Keller became a billionaire through revenue share, and I became less wealthy with that. Now at eXp Realty, I proudly work in Glenn Sanford's downline. I work way less. I sell the same amount of homes I've done for about the last 10, 15 years with this. I learned the treadmill is optional, and I make ridiculously more gross income. Now, Glenn Sanford became a billionaire through revenue share and stock, and I became wealthy and financially free. So who should we first put our efforts into when we're attracting or recruiting? That's people like, what do I do? Well, you know, if you want to go hunt for whales, what do you got to do? You got to go to the ocean. What about if you want to go hunt for lions and tigers? Well, you got to probably go to Africa. And, you know, you can't just sit at home going, I'm going to attract agents. The lions aren't coming to your door, right? The whales are not going to swim up to your door. Agent recruiting and duplication is like teaching a dog to fetch. Okay, follow me on this. Teaching a dog to fetch. All right, so this is not my dog, but it's like teaching a dog to fetch. And a lot of us look at this and they go, oh, hey, you know what? Like, a dog, it won't do anything. Maybe I need to go to a green ball, or I need to go to a green or a red or a yellow. I need to get something different. Maybe I need to get a biscuit. That's what I need to do. I need to get like a tasty biscuit, you know, and whatever else like that, right? Here's the deal. You want to teach a dog to fetch. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go walk by a low pond, and I'm going to look for the dog that's coming out of the water, shaking and just loving it and having a great time. And it's got the ball in its mouth, go, throw the ball, throw the ball, throw the ball. Why? Because here's the deal. Look and spend time with black labs. Nobody has to tell them to play fetch. Do you guys get that? Black labs wake up in the morning looking to play fetch. Tina wakes up in the morning looking to play fetch. She's going, I want to grow. I want to do these things, right? And that's what you're looking for. So if you want to go spend, like, who do you want to go spend your time with? If you're going to go teach a dog to fetch, who are you going to spend your time with? Now, I'm not saying that the little chubby dogs and everything, they're not awesome. They are, right? Brand new agents that don't want to do anything and you got to drag them around. That's That's fun maybe for somebody, but here's the deal. You're going and searching for the black labs. That's where the fun is at. That's where the duplication, that's where the people that inspire you and bring energy into your room instead of them sucking all the life out of you. So look for the black lab. We need to stop bragging about how many houses we sold and focus on how many icons and black labs we recruited. And I know that the leaders and winners are doing that because we aren't truly successful until we help others succeed. Now, a recruit is not a recruit until they have recruited someone else here. So you've heard of the 3 key hires if you read the Red Book by Gary Keller. I think we each need 3 key partners. If you want your life to absolutely explode, you need 3 key partners in your organization. You need to sponsor 3. You need 3 3-star generals, right? Mine, Dan Beer, Fred Weaver, Frank Driscoll. Those are people that 3 people, when I talk about you need to go out and recruit thousands and thousands, you need to find 3 massive black labs, 3 generals who have 3 generals, right? So you need 3 3-star generals, people that are going out and they're building. And a leg is not done until you have a general have 2 more solid generals inside there, right? So look at this. Instead of getting caught up in all the thousands of people, you need to go out and find 3-star generals, and you need to create people that are going out and building and building and building, right? Here's the deal. Very few icon agents leave EXP, and maybe less leave icon agents below them. So if you bring in an icon agent, that's great. If you bring in someone and then you help them duplicate and there's an icon agent under those people, here's the deal. They don't leave. Why? Because every year that person isn't going to walk away from $16,000 in stock or whatever it's become. They're not going to do that. And guess what? That essentially almost locks in the other people, because why? They're forced to look at this as like, hey, I'm not going to walk away. I'm going to make this work. If people have a choice to leave, just anything, people walk away from everything all the time. When you say, I'm not even going to consider that, I'm just going to build a massive business here, things get crazy and amazing. So build a fire in the basement. This isn't about what you can recruit. This is about who you can bring in, and then you help them do something. So when someone produces and grows, it inspires all of those above it. If you're competitive, if you absolutely positively had to get a certain listing, what would you do? If you absolutely had to do it, you'd do anything. You'd call, you'd write, you'd get a plane in the air, you'd do everything. Why? Because if you were super motivated to get it, you'd do anything, right? Look at that inside the EXP ecosystem. Is challenge right here is choose an agent in your front line. If they're like, hey, I'm building, but my agents are not, then you need to go find one and say, I need to make an example out of somebody here. Think of it like an infomercial, where you see an infomercial and they're really, really big. And then they start drinking a shake or they take a pill or whatever. And then then they show them in a bikini. They show them in a Speedo. They show them whatever. They show the before and after. Your job is to go create a success story in whatever that takes. You mean they wake up, you're at the foot of their bed, like, hey, let's go do an open house. We're going to go do this. First, you've got to get people productive, because until they're productive, they're not going to be, it's like getting oxygen. They first have to get productive. And then when they're productive, then they can grow an organization. Get them productive, and then say, who do you know? So let's set up meetings. They set up meetings for you, for Tina, for any of your partners. But force this to happen. Force somebody to win. And then what happens is when you help someone win, right now, Tina doesn't have to go look at what I did. She can say, look at what all these other people have done, right? And so when you start showing not just what your results are, but what others you've done, that's where it becomes astronomical, right? Is so think of yourself as a clone. What if you had 10 clones of you in your organization? What if everybody did the same thing that you did? What would happen? Right? Would you're the mold of this, right? So if you're not putting the time and effort into it, why do you expect somebody else to do this? If you're not going and tracking your stuff every day, if you're not showing up for accountability, you're not going and setting up meetings, third-party meetings, why would you expect someone else to? So we're very often critical of other people, what they're not doing. We need to first look at ourselves, and we need to say, you know what? Forget everybody else. The first thing I have to do is I have to re-recruit myself, and I have to become the mold, so that like a production facility, it bounces and it creates those new ones that are coming out, and they're clones of you. Right now, if some of you were cloned, it really wouldn't make a difference. You're like, they could clone me 10 times and it's still 0 calls. They could clone me and it's still 0 meetings. Some of you, if you cloned you, it would be phenomenal. That's what we're looking for, right? Be the person you wish was in your downline. Model what you want repeated. It doesn't matter what works. It matters what duplicates. And a lot of people look at this. Right as I got on, Tina was saying, answering a question for someone, am I too late? This is from a little while ago. When I first saw this, there was about 1,200 to 1,500 agents in the company, and I was not ready. I was 0% interested. About a year later, when I joined, there was 6,000 agents in the company, right? And you guys know what I thought? I thought I was too late. I thought I was too late. I was like, oh, it's easy for you. It's gone up 500%. Easy for you. It's too late for me. Like, my opportunity's over. You guys get how stupid that is? Like, that's the same kind of crap that I hear right now. I was like, that's so stupid. No. So right now, I did this a couple months ago. There's 55,000 agents. Right now, there's almost 80,000. But look at the difference between that. Now look at this. We're going to 1 million agents in the next 9 years, right? So we're going to add another 920,000 agents, and they have to join under somebody. A few weeks back, I was with Glenn Sanford. Tina, you might have been there. We're having a conversation, and he said, here's the deal. There's going to be more agents that are going to join in the next 12 months than joined in the last 12 years. What? Are you kidding me? That was like, wow. And you're telling me you don't have an opportunity? The person that's going to make the most revenue share in the lifetime of EXP has not even joined the company yet. Or it might be you. Maybe you just joined. I don't know, but it's pretty soon, right? That person has not probably even joined. You're looking for that person. 10 agents are joining EXP each hour, 12 hours every workday. There's 250,000 brokerages in the US who are not with EXP yet. You're going to tell me the opportunity's over? Nuh-uh, I ain't buying that. You just take that story, you go sell that to somebody else. Up on stage, Glenn put up there as a shorter goal for us to hit that's going to bring us to the million was 500,000 agents in the next 5 years. And people go, you know what? Are you pessimistic? There's knockoffs out there. There's this company's trying to do that or whatever. And he said, man, I am so optimistic because 4 years ago, we had just a few stories, right? We had Rob Flick. Wait, great. One person's making a bunch of money. Fantastic. That's awesome. And we had a bunch of hope and dreams. Now we have thousands of millionaires. We've got billions in net worth. Now this is no longer an idea. This is proven. The only choice is going to be, are you going to play with us or against us? Because if you choose to not do this, you're battling me, you're battling Tina, you're battling the 80,000 agents that are here. You're betting against us, and I would never bet against us. So allow yourself the grace to start again today. If you're looking at this going, you know what, I've been here for 8 months, I've been here for 2 years, and you know what, I haven't taken advantage of this opportunity. I'm part of the 88% that haven't done anything yet. Here's the deal. Plant your flag today. Plant that flag today and say, you know what, I can't go back and change that. I don't have a DeLorean. I can't go do that. Allow yourself the grace to start again today. Start now. Start where you are. Start with fear. Yeah. Start with pain. Start with doubt. Start with your hands shaking and your voice trembling. But here's the deal. Just start. You guys might have seen this before. That's give a man a fish and feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish and feed him for a lifetime. You guys heard that? Anyone ever heard that? Right? It's a lie. It's a lie. Because they don't tell you the last line of that. And here's the last line of that. And that is to teach a man to fish, and you feed generations. Now, I would say each one of us have a story. You heard my story. And I would just say is if you enjoyed this, and if you believe that it's the time for North Carolina, all 50 states, all 100 countries we're going in to hear your story, go ahead, clap your hands, get loud, and let's go out and change the world and let the world know your story. So thank you very much.
Hey, fun, y'all?
Yes.
I know. Did he fire you guys up?
Yes.
Woo!
That was awesome, Curtis. Curtis did that presentation in San Diego when we were there for Mastermind, and everyone was just, I mean, there were people in the crowd that were not with EXP, Nicole Briggs being one of them, and they all signed up after Curtis's presentation. So you are amazing. So does anyone
Sorry
have
for
questions?
going a little bit long.
No, I mean,
sorry about that. So I know more
No,
Tina,
that's-
less Curtis is better, but sorry.
No, we want more Curtis. They're sick of me, Curtis. They're so tired of Tina. That's how I'm bringing people on.
A prophet is never honored in their own land. You got to go outside. You're like, my team could care less about me, but right, you go
That's
like
right.
30 miles down the road and everyone's like rolling out the red carpet.
That's right. No, we just need, that energy, because it's like they see the same story over and over. And I'm like, look, it's time for them to create their own stories, get rid of the stories in their head that they can't do it. They can. And I see it every single day. And it's so exciting. We have in our organization, we have one big family tree. So one leg of the stool. And then I think we've got a couple more growing. And I think a couple of the builders are in this room. Does anyone have questions for Curtis while we have him on? Just unmute yourselves, or anybody here have a question for him. Anything that you thought of.
Tina.
Yeah.
Hey, Tina.
Yes, I can hear you.
Hey, it's Joe Carteret. How are you today?
Hey, Joe Carteret.
Good. Hey, Curtis, thanks for the
Just joined
presentation.
EXP.
Hey. Yeah, so Curtis, thanks for the presentation. I am 3 weeks on board with EXP. Super excited. I brought a small but mighty team on. We're based out of Charlotte, and we are in several parts of the state. I'm also only 2 years in real estate. A lot of people don't know that, but I'm only 2 years in real estate. Can you tell me what you've learned in your career now that you've been with EXP for some time and you have this down to a science? How would you advise folks like me that are fairly new to real estate, but also brand new to EXP? What would that strategy be that would get the biggest return on investment in a quick amount of time? 2 weeks ago, I brought on 2 people already in my downline, and those were just through relationships. But can you talk to me a little bit about what that approach would look like being new to EXP as well as fairly new to real estate?
Awesome. That is a fantastic question. I hope everybody listens to this because that might be a good answer. We'll decide here in a second. But it's one of the things I didn't really cover in this, but I think it's super, super critical. And that is like when I started, and again, you've got to be a little bit cocky. You've got to be a little bit confident to be able to do some stuff, right? And I sold a lot of houses. I sold, I was on the cover of Realtor magazine, 30 under 30. I was, I used to be hot stuff 20 years ago, all kinds of different stuff like that. And I sold a lot of houses, right? And I was super competitive. And, it was all about like, hey, how do you sell more houses? How do you go do all these things? Sold 6,000 houses, did a bunch of really cool stuff, right? And when I joined, here's the deal. I learned right at that beginning piece is it's not about you, it's about duplicating. And when I would talk to people, it was all about introducing them to my partners, which were, Chuck Fazio, Jay Kinder, Mike Reese, Brent Gove, everybody else like that. Like, here's the deal. The people that grow the most, I hope everybody gets this. The people that grow the most are the ones that involve and introduce. The best introducers win. The introducing to your upline partners. Everybody I talk to, I'd be like, hey, you know what? And I would just be like, man, can I introduce you to Jay Kinder? He's phenomenal. He's been someone that made such a big difference in my world. I used to go to his events. People pay him $2,000 a month just to get some of his coaching material. Now we get all those things included. I'd love just to introduce you and be able to hear why he decided over every other option to be able to build at EXP. If I were to get 15, 20, maybe even 30 minutes on his schedule, could we jump on and can I introduce you to him? And I'd build him up and talk about all the things because he's got great accolades. And you know what I didn't talk about? Me. I talked about introducing them. And when I would get them on, like later on, they'd kind of go like, hey, dude, so I was just looking at this. You did a lot of stuff too. Like, kind of like, I'm like the cherry on top. I'm like the thing that they almost have to figure out at the end, like, wow, he's not nearly as dumb as I thought he was, or something like that, right? And you've got to, if you sell yourself, and people like always see this brand new agents come in, like, I'm going to go, everyone's got to know my brand. I'm like, your brand stands for 2 home sales in the last year. I'm like, nobody wants that brand. That's not a brand. That's embarrassing. You don't want that. You want to go introduce to this other thing, right? Does that make sense? And so when you're coming in, don't talk about yourself. Just say, can I introduce you to my business partner? And then what you do is introduce them. And then, like, it doesn't matter about who they actually come through. Like, Sheila Faison was an okay agent. She reached out to Brent Gove, but she did it in such a nice way. Brent looked at it. It's like, yeah, I want to join. And he joined. And now she makes millions and millions of dollars with that. She's an amazing woman, but like her real estate business was just very, very mediocre, right? So don't get hung up on what your business has to look like, or, oh, if someone's going to join, they're going to definitely join under Marty Hampton or this or whatever it is. Like, no, that's not what it's about. It's about the personal connection. And can you introduce them to somebody else? So the ones, it's actually, I've seen some amazing, huge agents come in and just fail miserably. Why? Because they just talk about themselves, Go talk about your partners and you'll make a lot of money.
Thank you very much.
Anybody else for Mr. Amazing Curtis? And Kurt, oh, we've got, come up to the front of the room. And basically what he's talking about is edification. So I brought a lot of people, and Marty's really good at this too. Marty will bring people to the call. Marty obviously has plenty of accolades. We can all, right? #1 agent and lots of things. But she is really good at bringing people to calls with me, with Michelle Sayward, with Curtis. I mean, she brought Amy Wienans, who's on this call. She's welcome, Amy, by the way, to our Freedom Builders group, wherever you are. You know, it's bringing people to your other peers so you can start to edify them and let them do the heavy lifting. Just like when you bring somebody to an event, the event does the heavy lifting. Today, Curtis did the heavy lifting for me. You are sick and tired of me telling you this is the best opportunity. You got a little more inspired by Curtis, did you not? He says the same things, but it's fun to hear other people's stories. Come right up to the front.
Oh gosh.
So they
hi,
can see
everyone
you.
in the world.
Hi,
This
everyone
is
in the
a little
world.
Freaky.
Hi, it's just our friends.
So hey, Curtis, and trust me, I know I'm prefacing this. I want to preface this with, I know this is just an excuse that some people will come up with on why not to join, and it's something it's an objection to overcome. But what do you say to people that say, "Oh, I'm not going there. All you guys do is recruit"? I mean, there was a great, really funny, actually, broke agent post yesterday on Instagram that made fun of us. What do you say to those people? I've got a couple of, it just feels icky, actually using those words to me when I talk to them about the amazing experience here. Thank you. I'm gonna get it out of the world.
Yeah, you know, there's so many good things here, but I think honestly, you know, it sounds like I'm blowing smoke, but I think Tina's probably one of the best examples with that. Is like right when she first started with doing the lunch and learn, right before she said, you know what, that just doesn't feel right. I'm gonna just bring value. And that's what you do. Like, you know what, let the recruiters, let everybody go out there. Like every company was built by recruiting. Let's get real, right? But this is about, when you look at it and maybe change it, instead of I want to make money off you, right? Because you can feel if someone wants to make money off you. You can feel like you're looking at me like a dollar sign. It's a whole nother thing is if you look at this and you say, you know what, I want to recruit you into my family. I'm recruiting you into my life. When you look at that and say, you know what can I do to help your business? And you look at somebody and you go, hey, you're at 20 deals a year. Can I introduce you with some people that we went from 20 deals to 80 deals and from 80 to 280? If I put you around those people, because we know that the quality of life is going to be about the quality of your circles and the rooms that you're in. If I could change some of those things and make your life better, don't you actually almost have an obligation to try and bring them? Here's the deal. If someone is there's nothing, I told Brent when he first brought this to me, Brent Gove, I said, dude, you could be handing me gold bricks and I'd say no. I go, I'm out. There's zero chance. But a year later, I was open to that. So like, there's people that are no, not right now. That's okay. Just treat them the same way you should treat any good person. Treat them like you love them. You want them in your world. Invite them to stuff. Nobody looks at this and goes, oh my gosh, I want to go get new cards. I want to go get new signs. I want to go do all that. Nobody does that, right? Everybody's a no to start out. Everybody. So when you come from, oh, it feels icky or whatever, realize where's the root of that? The root of that is someone scared, some broker somewhere sees EXP as a threat to their industry, which we are, absolutely. And it's their way of, was it disinformation? Is that right? Disinformation campaign. So like, guess what? They're saying, oh, isn't that icky to go recruit? Hey, by the way, we're hiring a recruiter. Oh, by the way, we're having this recruiting event. Like, does anyone see the hypocrisy that, why is it okay for Gary to get it all? Why is it okay for everyone to go like, oh, it's cool for him to recruit, but not me? Do you think Gary and Dave Linegar and everybody else, do you think, did they get money from, if they were going to go make all the money they needed from going on listing presentations, they would. So when you look at this and you go do what feels good to you, but don't, like, I don't recruit people. I invite people to stuff that I think would be of value. I go, hey, there's something I found. So do what feels good and just give. Just go from like, try and outgive the system. Here's the deal. If you give and you're just without reservations of what you're going to get back, just go give value, invite them to great things. The world will bend in your way, in your favor. Maybe not right away. You might be going, I'm giving, and no one's giving back. It's okay. Just give it some time. Just give, and then give from your heart. Be the best person you can be, and then just watch what happens.
Yeah, and I love, and you got to think about this too, answering Brandon, is think about a FSBO. What does a FSBO think that we are, right? Oh, all you agents, you just want to take my money. You want to take my equity. You all suck. I'm going to do this by myself. It's a narrative, right? So they've given themselves the narrative that agents are just slimy, right? Salespeople that want to steal their equity. But what do we have to do as agents? We have to get better at the objection. We have to show them value. We have to invite them into our world. We have to show them why we believe that they're better with us versus without us. I believe that now. So that same belief to that agent, if they say, oh, well, everybody just recruits at EXP. Well, that I could see why you say that. I mean, that's the narrative going around. What I'd love to do is invite you and have a seat at my table. I know that my family, my work family, could double your business. Why don't you come to one of our meetings on Monday at 1 o'clock? Here's the Zoom link, text, and you're done. Right? And then you follow up with that person like they're a lead. To me, they're a lead. I got to build the relationship with that person to get them to believe that whether you join this company or not, I just tell people that all the time. I end calls with that. I think Colleen Colleen's been here, by the way, Colleen Blondell. She's been here a week. Welcome. She's had like 4 calls already or 5 or 6 calls with agents. Like this woman's going to be on fire. So, but what I'm saying is she believes this, she sees it. So she doesn't care. She's had people say no to her already. And what we both think is we'll get them eventually. We just have to invite them into our world. We have to show them that we're not all creepy recruiters. And to be honest with you, recruiting is leadership. So sometimes I'll say to people, well, I could see why you don't want to recruit. I'm not a recruiter either. In fact, I'd be fired at Keller Williams. They have to bring in 15 people a month. I've averaged 1. So I'm not a recruiter, but I am a leader, and EXP is looking for leaders. So when you're ready to have a leadership conversation, because most leaders have to recruit, if you ever want to grow outside of being a single agent, you have to recruit. We can teach you that. And so you just spin the narrative on them so they can zip it and then come over to our world. So. And
yeah, and I would just say there's always going to be an excuse, right? Initially in North Carolina, it was, well, no, there's no agents here. Now we got too many agents here, right? Well, EXP, it's too small. Yeah. It's too small. Now it's too big. It's this, it's not sustainable. Now, oh my gosh, they're giving away too much money. It's like, there's always going to be an issue. And so just deal with it. Just be like, okay, that's great. You're looking for the people that are looking for you.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. We have a hand raise. Is it Emily? Emily.
Oh, hey, you guys.
Hey,
both,
Emily.
Hey, you both just kind of answered my question, but I've been with EXP now a year. Love it. And I have 2 people that I've brought on, and I'm just now kind of really getting the bug for the agent attraction. And my question was more, how do you get in front of people? Like, are people cold calling, or is it just more natural relationships with people? And then you both kind of brought in, like, having events and things like that, but just getting started. How do you get in front of people to be able to have those types of conversations, which you kind of answered already, but if you have anything else to add.
Curtis, I don't know if you want to add anything. I mean, there's so many ways. Yeah,
I would say it's a lot. It's a lot like selling real estate, right? There's a lot of ways you could do it. You could door knock. You could whatever. You're going to go with the people that know, like, and trust you the most. But I've got kind of a 10-step process of going through that. I probably need to do like a video on exactly probably how to do that or whatever. But it really just comes down to, you've got to be someone that's attractive, that when people look at you, they want to be spending more time with you. Then you've got to expand your audience, right? In going through and doing that. You've got to go through and bring value to them in excess of what you're asking them to do. And you're asking them to spend an hour reviewing something and then getting on a 3-way Zoom with someone else. So you've got to earn an hour of someone's time. So come from the place of, what value have you brought to someone, so that if you asked for an hour of their time, they would feel indebted and feel like, oh my gosh, of course I would, right? Like this, Tina's helped me out in my business so much that she's like, hey, Curtis, could you do that? I mean, yes. Absolutely. Yes. What do you need? Absolutely. Why? Because we feel uncomfortable as humans that when the balance is off, like someone's given you so much that you're looking for a way to get rid of the guilt, if you will, right? You're like, sure. And so if you're giving to someone so much, and then, then you're like, hey, would you come with me to this, Freedom Builder class? Like, yeah, absolutely, I will. And if people are saying no to you, let me just be real honest with you. If people are saying no, they won't do this. Initially, because they don't know what they don't know, they're saying no, that you haven't brought enough value to their life. because even if someone's not interested, they should say, hey, you know what? I'm just going to tell you. Like I told Brent, hey, dude, I'm not interested at all, but I'll listen because I owe you. You've been so great in my life. So people should be saying, hey, dude, I'm not interested at all, but I'll listen because you're such a great friend. I'll listen because you've been so helpful. If you're getting that, you're on the right track, because if you show them and you bring them through, 40% of those people are going to join. If you're talking to people and they're like, no, you're not even worth any of my time, that's a tip to you to give more.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. And for Emily too, I mean, think of all the agents in your cross deals, right? Every day you're dealing with agents on cross sales. You could invite the last 10 agents or 15 agents that you've done deals with and invite them to a cocktail hour. Every Thursday you could have like a little meet and greet, right? Little cocktail hour where you're meeting other agents. There's just so many ways to build relationships. So anytime you think of an agent that's in front of you, think of how can I bring value to this agent's life? Oh, let me tell them about my mastermind group every Monday at 1 o'clock, which Curtis, you're on that call with Dan and Kyle, and it's amazing. That's my best recruiting tactic, is give somebody tremendous value so they can grow their business. Wow, I'm such a genius. Like that's ridiculous. It's like free. It's free to bring them to that call and then keep following up with them. Jennifer, you have a question.
Hi, good morning, Jennifer
Good
here.
morning.
New to the group, 3 weeks old.
Welcome.
This is really great. Thank you, and I'm really enjoying it. I just want to share my experience, because I guess the people that we attract first here are the people that within our circle, right? The realtors that we know. And the first thing that, like, what happened with me, I just want to share my experience. Like when I moved from my brokerage, and everybody knew I was happy there, I was doing great. Like, why did you move? That I started getting calls. They get curious. There has to be a reason why you move, right? And then you explain that to them. But the analogy that I use, like someone asked about recruiting, it feels kind of icky. If you look at it that way, that you're recruiting them because you're trying to make money off of them, but that's not what we're doing. We're sharing this because it's something really good that they need to know about. We know it, but they don't know it yet. It's like, there's a handbag sale, there's a Kate
Right.
Spade sale, or a Coach sale. You're gonna tell all the people in your group that love handbags that there's this great sale, and they're gonna love you for letting them know about that. So that's how I'm approaching it. Like, this is something that you need to hear about. I have a question though. You mentioned about a Zoom on Mondays at 1 p.m. I'm not aware of that. Is that like a...
Yep. Allison is going to be mad at you, Jennifer. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to put it in the box, zoom.fastforward. Everybody should have this in their phone at 1 o'clock, zoom.fastforwardmovement.com. And that's the Zoom link. So you just have to put that in your browser and then you jump right into the link. I think they're going to have a passcode on it, I heard. I don't know what's starting this week. So Jennifer, just, we'll get with Jennifer, but Alice Ann actually has a text messaging system that she's working on it. She has all 940 of us. Do not reject her messages. 940 Freedom Builders are going to get text message reminders with links coming soon, because all of y'all obviously can't answer your emails and you don't check your messages on Facebook. So we're trying to get even better to corral the troops. So Alice Ann is heading that up, but you will get that link, Jennifer, and all you need to do is invite them. Who is your sponsor? Is it Frank?
Frank Rossi.
Frank's awesome. So in the beginning, when people are thinking about EXP, all you need to do is introduce them to Frank and me. We'll get on a call together. Don't even try to explain EXP. That's the biggest mistake.
I'd rather have you do it.
Yeah, we can do it. We can do some heavy lifting. And then what we're going to do is once a week, we're going to have an EXP explain call, another set date. We used to do it, but it got to be a lot. Y'all are making us work too much. We're trying to be on the freedom plan, but I guess we're not. No, I'm just kidding. So we're going to do that every week. So we'll announce that so we can just naturally bring people to a once a week call, and it'll just be an EXP explained. And so we'll start learning how to do that more, but we'll, and this is going to be an ongoing agent attraction mastermind. I mean, there were 90 people here today between Zoom and online. Obviously you guys want to know about it. We want you to get better at it, because I don't have the bandwidth anymore to do one-on-one. Teach me how to do this. I don't have enough time to teach everyone, but if we show up here and we all exchange ideas and we have accountability and we do that for an hour a week, I think, we're all going to get better at it. So So we had more things to do today. Nina was ready for her napkin presentation. Yeah, well, so
I'm
what we'll
telling
do
you, I
is
ruined it all. I went so long. I apologize.
No, you were
You guys-
amazing. I wish I would have started with you last week to kind of get everyone inspired and get a jump start. Because when you start seeing the numbers and the math, especially Buffalo, right? Did that math make sense to you? It made sense to him. Buffalo's going to start recruiting finally, and he's a good recruiter. But I'm saying you have to see it in different ways. I'm not good at math, but I knew this was a great model. I don't check my rev share every day because I know it's growing. Money is attracted to me. That's my mindset, right? Money comes easy. It's an energy, and you take that energy and you do good things with it. So I knew that this would work. It's just now, how do we get you guys believing in yourself and providing that same value to people? Because you'll start getting people saying, thank you, you've changed my life. That's the reward, not the $2,800. I don't need the $2,800, but $2,800 times 100, that's pretty fun, right? Just for inspiring people all day. Like, what a great job. So recruiters are inspire givers, right? You're delivering people to inspiration. Change your mindset just about the word recruiter. I am proud to be a recruiter now. It took me 33 months to say that. I like it. It's fun, right? It brings people into our world. So, so go out next week. We're going to have Nina start with her napkin presentation. Everybody should have watched Jean Frederick's video. It's posted in the group. That napkin presentation is the way that I recruited almost every single person that I've probably talked to. If you've met with me, you've probably seen me do the napkin presentation. I'm not reinventing the wheel here, people. I didn't come into this saying, I'm going to do it my way. Nope, I'm going to do it Jean's way, because Jean was the #1 recruiter at KW. Why would I do it any other way? So we're going to have Nina do that. You were supposed to come up with your 100 things, that list of 100, your whys. Why do you want to go out and do something hard? You're not going to do this hard thing if you don't have a reason. So what is your reason? And it doesn't have to be yachts and jewelry and planes and trains and automobiles. It can just be, I want to help my parents pay off their house. I want to help my, struggling sister with 5 kids get a whatever. It can be helping others. And I find when you start making your list about helping others, you're going to fill those 100 spots way quicker than I need a new bag. So start to fill out your why. What would you do with 15, 20, 100? I mean, Curtis's problem right now, he's trying to figure out how to spend 300 grand a month. That's a good problem to have, right? It's a problem.
He's buying a lot of sneakers.
Yeah, he's buying a lot of sneakers, but think about it. That's his challenge in life. How the heck do I spend this money? So that still is hard. So pick your hard, right? I'd rather have Curtis's hard. So because he gets to help a lot of people now. So Curtis, you're a gem. Thank you. We'll probably
Thank you for having me on. You guys are all amazing, and if there's everything I can do, let me know. But just so impressive. You guys are changing lives. So thank you so much for letting me be a small part in it.
Yeah, thank you, buddy. You're awesome. So yeah, if I want to share what? Oh, the password for Monday, Zoom. So that's the secret password. Now remember, you're inviting people to that call, but some people have been overstaying their welcome. They're on that Zoom 5, 6, 7 times. Our goal is to invite them, but set the framework that we're inviting you to have a seat at our table to see why our agents are exponentially growing their business, because revenue share, that keeps us opening our playbooks. I want you to see what our agents are experiencing on a weekly basis. Where at any other brokerage are you seeing the top dogs in the business show up every week and accountable to teaching the people underneath them how to sell more real estate? You're not seeing that. I would task you to do that. I'll pay you, $100,000 if you can find that. It's not there. So bring them, but the framework is come to a few of our masterminds, see what our family is like. And if you like it, let's have a deeper conversation on how this brokerage, this firm, our mastermind group can change your business. Do not lead with recruiting and how they're going to get rich quick. That's not what they care about until they care about it. There's a lot of people in this room that have been here 2 years that did not care about recruiting until today. So lead with their business first. That's what they care about. Then we'll get them into, building their freedom plan. So bye, everyone.
Thank you. I got a couple of things I can
See y'all. Bye, bye, bye.